Welcome back to Sims Complete. I'm your host, Matt Sims, alongside Phil Sims on the Bleav Sports Network, brought to you by FanDuel. Man, we got a great weekend lined up. Games Saturday, Sunday, and of course the national championship on Monday. But before we get to all of that action, let's talk about our boy Harbaugh. All right, in town here. He's one of us now. Okay, he's one of us. He's up here, New Jersey, New York. All right, what about it? I'm pretty excited. But big guy, your first initial thoughts on just the Giants hiring Harbaugh? Have you heard anything from some of your Giants connections? I know that you're not too connected over there, but have you heard anything about the news over there?
Yes. First and foremost, John Harbaugh, he did spend time coaching at Morehead State along with the Ryan brothers. I think they were both there at the same time. So I'm just giving him a little credit for starting his career.
Yeah.
But yes, the Giant facility, they're doing cartwheels down there, man. They got the guy they really wanted, and they came free. And as soon as he became free, everything changed. We got to have him. And now they're on to the second one. They want Todd Monken there too. But forget everything. The excitement, I think, is real. And it's real by all the people on radio and most of it on TV today, just listening. So that's really good. I think it's a great thing. It really is. He knows what he's doing. 18 years, Matt. But even with 18 years, he's going to look at it now and go, I did this wrong. I'm going to fix that now with the Giants. So that'll be pretty cool just to see the minor changes he makes in his coaching style, his personality, and, his rapport with players has always been great. It was in Baltimore. There were some run-ins there. I don't know what the story is with Lamar. It doesn't matter. He's with the New York Giants right now, and pretty excited about it. They are.
Yeah, and I think we're in that situation as we look at this, and you've been covering football for a long time, and of course playing as long as you did. You've seen these things happen before with some of your own coaches personally, and even as a broadcaster, right? That just sometimes it just is time for everybody to move forward and to start something new, right? And you said that numerous times to me about just Parcells. It just, there came a point where he worked so damn hard and he did everything he could, and he kind of needed to take a step back and kind of restart someplace else. And he was better for it and a better coach for it. And I think the same thing here for Coach Harbaugh, right? Just
no doubt.
Fresh start and a franchise that, really happy for the New York Giants because they did the whole, hey, let's experiment with some guys, first-time head coaches, all that. And they ran that course and, it didn't work out for whatever reason. It doesn't matter now. And they went with the surefire thing and Coach Harbaugh, and a guy that's been successful for the majority of his career. So you got to be pleased with just their process and going with a known commodity for the future of this franchise.
Good point. Listen, 18 years, no matter who the coach, even with Bill Parcells and all the success, you get tired of the message.
Right.
And when somebody is in there fresh, it's, man, he's got years. He's going to have a different message for many years because he's learned 18 years being a head coach. But I think that's what it is. It's hard to keep invigorating the players with your knowledge and your personality and all the stuff that you bring to the organization. So great new start. And two, I know I'm a homer to a degree. It's hard not to be. But I do look at the Giants and I go, I think of all the coaching vacancies out there, I think the Giants is the best one. And there's many reasons. It's not just a quarterback. There's other players there too. So, that kind of makes it. And when I say it, I just go, yeah, it's really true. And I think that's one of the reasons why he looked at the organization, looked at the players, talked to the quarterback, and as far as I know, hopefully they'll get a deal done and he'll be their coach.
Yeah, and just as far as the Monken Harbaugh relationship, what do you think about that? Like, do you think it is a surefire thing as far as Monken being the next offensive coordinator? Do you think that's the right move by Harbaugh here? Like, how do you feel about just that combination of the two moving up here to New York?
I love the combination. I have been a big Todd Monken fan on this, doing the podcast. When I talk, if anything goes wrong, it's always his fault because we know nobody else on that team makes a mistake on the offensive side. So that it always kind of bothered me. But I like how he can devise different game plans for different teams. It shows. But the thing about Todd Monken, everybody in the league knows this too. And
Mhm.
I think he's going to interview with other teams, and it might be a bidding war to get him as an offensive coordinator.
Yeah.
So just saying that, if it comes down to a couple million or whatever, boy, isn't that something? A couple million. Uh, the Giants got to match whatever's out there. And the last thing is too, it's getting easier and easier for these owners to fire these coaches and pay them off. And why is that? It's because they're making more money than ever.
Right.
So it doesn't hurt as bad. Before, well, we want to fire him, but damn, I don't want to pay 3 years to him. And that stopped them sometimes. And sometimes that was a great thing because it works out.
Right.
But man, Matt, it's incredible, all these openings and all the firings, but that's a different story.
Yeah. Well, and it's interesting too, because, Todd Monken, of course, coming from Baltimore, potentially with Harbaugh to New York, and the thought of, having some of those game plans that revolve around an athletic quarterback like
Right.
Lamar. Now, of course, Jackson Dart isn't Lamar as far as that sense goes, but he is more than capable as an athlete, as a runner outside the pocket. So you got to think that that's going to be a good cornerstone to their offense moving forward. And the biggest question mark, really, I think for Harbaugh and the rest of the coaching staff too, is just how quickly can guys like Scadaboo and Neighbors come back healthy and ready to go. And in the meantime, right, can they get something in free agency to kind of help lift the absence of those guys, and of course just have a great draft. Like, as we always say, nobody has a bad draft, right, big guy? So
Yeah.
it's exciting times though for New York fans. There's no doubt about it. And I'm kind of curious too, like, I haven't seen anything yet. Of course, the main focus has been about Monken and the offense with Harbaugh. I haven't seen anything yet as far as, what direction they're leaning towards defensively, as far as who they'll identify there for the coordinator position. But we got to think again, just like that with Harbaugh, right? It's going to be a well-rounded coaching staff with a ton of resources, because he really is one of the first guys that really invented just having a ton of people within the building helping build the roster out and keeping everybody in line and in check. So really, really exciting times for the New York Giant fan base right now.
No doubt about it. It really is. It really is. And I think it's exciting because of what he's done. Even fans know that. But also, the fans also know that the Giants, they have a nucleus. It's not huge, but it's big enough to excite you.
Right.
And to think if we can put stuff around it and people around it. You're right. Malik Neighbors, if he comes back 100%, that changes the football team tremendously. They don't have to go into a game and go, well, we got nobody to get open. Well, Wan'Dale Robinson turned out to be a special treat this past year. But, still, you need that number one receiver in the NFL. You got to make defenses do certain things where you at least know they're going to do this because he's over there.
Yeah.
And that helps everybody. So that'll be just one big key for the Giants during the offseason.
And big guy, did you have any conversations personally with Coach Harbaugh during this process?
Oh, not during this, no.
No? Okay.
And I had a lot of them with him when I was an announcer.
Yeah.
And yeah, so I can't wait to see him and go over a few of these arguments that we used to have. Not
Right.
arguments, but disagreements.
Right.
But it was kind of like, it was a little testy, but we both held our ground. All of a sudden we went, okay, we got it.
Yeah.
I
Right.
held my ground, he held his, and I think we both learned some from it. And many times, I remember early in his career, the last game of the year I was doing it, they were playing Cincinnati, and we were just him and I were sitting in a room waiting for everybody to show up for our meetings, and we talked, and it was awesome. Just what we talked about, what we learned from each other. Of course, I learned a lot more from him than I taught him or said to him. So it was pretty cool. But yeah, he's easy to get along with. The players like him. I'm really interested to hear and everything about, the personality with the players. But, I was at very few practices where you could really connect that. But that's going to be interesting too.
Yeah, and it's really cool too, just to hear some of the reports of even Coach Brian Daboll, right, reaching out to Harbaugh, saying that, hey, this is a great place for you to be the head coach at. Joe Shane is the man. It's going to be great working with him. And of course, just speaking highly about the Giants franchise and how they treated him. So it just goes to show you too that just, think what you want about the individual characters within the game of football, it is a brotherhood, right? It is a fraternity in a lot of ways. And you know, these guys look out for each other, and these guys really tell each other just the things that they need to know and what to look out for and all that. And pretty cool that the gentleman who was fired midseason for the New York Giants is giving his seal of approval to Coach Harbaugh and saying, hey, this is a great opportunity. Jackson Dart's the man. They got a lot of great pieces there. And I'm excited, too, for a lot of the young defensive players that they have, especially, just with Abdul Carter and having a guy like, Coach Harbaugh, right? Like, it just it's amazing. And that experience really does speak volumes for a ton of players in that building, and exciting. And really just, I'm so pumped about it as a fan, man. So this is where the whole, being a broadcaster, breaking down things. It's like, no, I'm just pumped. I'm just can't wait. Let's just start the season now,
Yeah, it's a long wait. I'll tell you one thing that bothers me a little bit. I have great faith in Brian Daboll.
Yeah,
I do. And I think on offense, he can get it done big time.
Right.
And then I saw he was interviewing with the Eagles, I think. And I go, man, I don't want him with the Eagles.
No.
Hell, that's the worst thing that can happen.
Yeah, don't do that, dude. Yeah, don't play games with us.
I do Bleav this too. And of course, I follow this. I try to follow all these assistant coaches and coaches that get jobs or whatever. But I do think that Brian Daboll is going to go wherever he goes. The offense is going to look pretty damn good. It's going to have a little excitement to it, and then he'll be back in the interview process and probably get a job within a year or two. I do, and and I think it's easy to say because you got to know in those years he was with the Giants that he learned a lot.
Yeah,
what really works, what he doesn't want to do, and it's just like being a quarterback. You're really aggressive, and that's who I am. And you throw 5 interceptions, you go, well, let me get away from that and start doing it a little differently to have more success and get the job done. So good luck to Brian Daboll as this goes on.
Of course. And you're absolutely right. And if there's ever a time to kind of put your chips into a coach, right, and Bleav in what he's going to do, well, I would say Daboll is probably going to have a pretty good year next year, considering the fact that, he was under fire here in New York for a long time, a ton of pressure last year and going into this season. And hey, there's no great motivator than just being doubted and essentially kicked to the curb, right? So wouldn't be shocked if Coach Daboll is coaching an offense that's higher up on, some of the statistical categories for next season, just because hey, he's pissed off, no better time to coach and to motivate than when you're a little pissed off and ready to go to prove yourself.
Oh yeah, it's a great motivator. It used to work too. There's nothing like it. Trust me, I'm an expert.
Yeah, we know. Very, very familiar with that. So
okay.
Hey, congratulations, New York Giants. You got your coach, right? Even your son, Chris Sims, was saying, hey, there's only one guy in the race unless Mike Tomlin becomes available. So hey, he thought that Harbaugh was the guy for the Giants. That's who the Giants got, and excited for both the Harbaugh family and for the Giants family. Man, what an awesome news for us. But that's all we got for the breakdown here for the Harbaugh introduction into the New York Giants fan base and our community. We welcome you with open arms, my friend. But we'll be back with more action for playoffs this weekend for Saturday and Sunday, and of course maybe a little bit of the national championship as well. So we'll see you here shortly for that breakdown.